Hi, everybody. Welcome back to In the Cards and Stars. I'm your host, Britt Madrid Mogensen, and this episode is all about the Tortured Podcast Department, TTPD. We're talking about Taylor Swift's new album. Obviously, this has been a long time coming. I have been itching to put this out here, and it's something that I've been looking into with the birth charts. We're going to do a whole thing. We're going to really dive into the lore of this album. And I'm so excited to give you guys the tarot and astrology perspective of a lot of the things that are going on with Taylor's latest album. So, okay, I'm gonna take a little sip of my tarot tea, which is an energy drink, because I need the fuel for this. And we're gonna get right into it. And if you guys are watching this on video, I'm wearing some blue light blocking glasses, but I think I gotta take them off. Woo. I'm really trying to cosplay the situation, get into character. Okay, but let's talk about this. Where to start, you guys? I'm so excited. Okay. So let's just talk about a couple of first reactions. So, first of all, aren't we all kind of shocked that this album is more about Matty Healy than Joe Alwyn? Now, I want to do my first tarot pull about that whole situation because I am just so surprised. We all thought we were going to be getting this breakup album about Joe Alwyn and Taylor Swift and what went wrong. And we got a little bit of that, but it seems like more of the focus is on Matty Healy, and we all thought they just kind of briefly dated. Now, in my research for this episode, I went into the Reddit world, I went into the mainstream media world. I have been reading all things Taylor Swift since this album came out. And I got to tell you, there are just so many conflicting theories, as always. So I figure we could get the tarot tea truth to allegedly clarify some things. So let's see what's going on. Why did Taylor Swift not write as much of this album about Joe Alwyn? Or is he in the album, but we're just thinking that he's not? Did he did they sign some sort of like NDA? That's another theory that she promised that she wouldn't. This is a Reddit theory that Taylor promised that she wouldn't talk about Joe, which is why they had to make this seem like it's about Maddie, but it's really about Joe. I mean, are we keeping up? My mind is boggled. So let's just see. I'm going to pull a couple of tarot cards. And I'm just going to ask the cards to tell us why this album allegedly isn't really about Joe. There's just a little bit about him. Let's see what comes through. Coming in hot with some tarot tea to start, guys. No warm up. Okay, Eight of Wands, things up in the air. This is like no clarity. So maybe the songs and the interpretation isn't actually spot on. Maybe that theory is the one to go with. That it's more about Joe than we think. All right, let's get another one. And then we're going to look at Matty Healy's birth chart as well, alongside Taylor's. Oh, we're getting into it, guys. I'm so excited. Okay. Seven of Swords. Okay, this is lies. This is lies. Oh, wait. I don't think that I don't think that we're right. Like as a collective, I don't think that we are interpreting these songs correctly. I think it is more about Joe. I think that Taylor allegedly, for entertainment purposes, according to this tarot tea, I think that these songs are more about Joe than Maddie. But I think she had to put some like red herrings and just some like different things into the songs so that we interpret it as about Maddie. I really think that this is more of like a plant. I mean, she even wrote, Clara Bow, which was fictional. Like she'll do these things where, her albums are half like just her pouring her heart out about her real experiences. And then she'll throw in something that's really just like a fictional storytelling experience. And then I think she also will marry the two. So it's hard to know like which parts of the story are hers, which are made up, which are, about a totally different time period. So I'm going to say the reason that we're all interpreting this album as about Matty Healy is because we don't have it correct. I think that she has, done some little trickery to us, which that's what keeps it fun. I'm glad she does that. She doesn't have to tell her whole story to everybody. I think what she creates is awesome art. And then Eight of Wands, it's because, yeah, up in the air, our interpretation is not grounded in reality. Okay, I kind of like that. I was feeling that. Very interesting. Okay, so if that's the case, then how does Joe actually play into this album? Let's pull a card for her relationship with Joe and maybe the parts that were reflected in this album. King of Pentacles, interesting. So anything that has to do with power imbalances, that would be a reference to Joe. So anytime she may allude to feeling powerless in a love relationship or feeling like she's too powerful, it's a lot of back and forth with the power dynamics in this connection. And I've done tarot readings on them in the past, and I did get that. So I think that power shifted back and forth throughout the relationship, which again, it's not really great, right? Power, love and power don't really go together. You want to eliminate power dynamics and really come from the heart when you establish a really strong emotional connection that's healthy and not like a toxic relationship. So it's very toxic. Allegedly for entertainment purposes, it was a toxic connection that had a lot of power imbalance, basically. And at different times, one would feel more powerful than the other would feel more powerful, depending on what they were going through in their personal, how they felt about themselves. Something interesting about that, and some of the research I've done, if you'll excuse me, I just need to put on my little glasses here, my little blue light glasses. Just feels like I'm in character. Um, when it comes to Joe's birth chart, I'm not super surprised that power is coming into play. Here's why. So, a quick glance at his chart revealed to me that his Jupiter, which is, by the way, at the fame degree of 5 degrees, which is so interesting. He was meant to be famous. He was meant to experience fame. Basically, Jupiter is what expands things. So he has his Jupiter in Leo at 5 degrees. So that's double fame energy. So he was always meant to be in movies, on the stage, regardless of how big people think he is or not. In comparison to Taylor's stardom, yes, he's not as famous or as wealthy as she is. But think about how many actors are out there trying to get on television, trying to get roles in movies. I mean, he has been in movies with Emma Stone, an Oscar winner. Like he's an actor. He's a working actor, which is huge and very hard to accomplish. So, fame degree at 5 degrees is a classic example of someone who's destined to experience fame in this lifetime. But that is conjunct her Leo South Node. And your South Node is your past. It is sometimes your childhood. It's what you're here to outgrow. So, whenever we have a South Node connection, it can indicate a past life energy. And sometimes it'll last, sometimes it'll work out. Other times, it really is here to just help you learn something about yourself. It can be extremely karmic and it'll have a lasting impact on both people. There's some life lesson that you're learning from each other with that South Node connection. It's like unfinished business. So, okay, so they have that connection to the Leo South Node, which is about fame, it is about reputation, it is about power, imbalance, power dynamics, learning about that, learning about self esteem. And his Saturn is in Aquarius. Okay, Saturn is hard work, life lessons learned through difficulty, right? Saturn is like that taskmaster, the coach. It's not a warm, fuzzy planet. Like it can create staying power, excuse me, and stability, which is a positive sign. Depending on the other connections that two people have between their birth charts, it can indicate something long lasting, or it can indicate something that is kind of hard, kind of difficult. It just kind of depends on all the connections. And when we look at all the connections in their birth chart, to me, this does indicate that it was difficult. And I think a lot of the pain that is in this album, just in my opinion, even though it's presented as, Matty Healy type of stuff, I think she really blew up that connection so that she could talk freely about Joe without exposing Joe. That's what I think, because it just makes so much more sense when you see their charts. So I know that's a hot take. So he has, like I said, his Saturn in Aquarius, which is conjunct her North Node and her Venus. So Saturn, like I said, it's difficult. It is coaching you up. Now, you need someone to coach you sometimes on your North Node, because the North Node is where we're going. It's what's unfamiliar. It is what we're meant to do in this lifetime that we really get into into adulthood. Our south node is something that we usually will experience a lot in childhood up until the age of 30. Then we switch into our north node and we're like learning lessons after that Saturn return. By the way, Saturn. So I do see this Saturn connection with her north node as something that was karmic, meant to help her grow and transform and to change her sense of herself, the way she views the world. It helps you to mature, basically. Saturn will make you mature through like doing hard work. But again, that's not like this lovey, romantic relationship, especially with someone who's heading towards Aquarius energy north node. I mean, that is needing to become more of a person of the people. Um, it's really letting go of the need to be in the spotlight, letting go, which, oh my God, she did. She like hid away. Now, I'm not saying that's great or that's what she needs to keep doing, like hide away like a hermit the rest of her life. But I think the lessons that she learned from that experience were what she needed to continue moving forward towards her North Node destiny of really expressing Aquarian energy. Our North Node destiny is what we're here to really express overall. Okay. And we'll keep being pushed towards it. So, anyway, we have North Node and Venus there. So, that really means that learning, he helped her to learn lessons through their love relationship, Venus. I mean, it doesn't get more cut and dry than that. And it was really for her soul growth, but it's difficult. I mean, maturity and growth, hard won lessons. That is not easy. Okay. And then last but not least, what I will say about Joe is that his North Node is in Capricorn, which is all about needing to become this very like stable, hardworking, powerful person. He's really here to become someone who is famous and powerful. That's the energy that he's meant to express with that Jupiter in Leo at 5 degrees. 5 degrees is also associated with Leo. So he has big, expansive fame energy. So he's meant to do that, but then also build a legacy for himself. So think like George Clooney, Leo DiCaprio, people that are actors who act for a very long time and build like a wealth and a legacy for themselves, a really big name person. That's what he's here to do. So he needs to really focus on that because his south node is in Cancer, which is extremely emotional. And those two energies are on the same like axis. They're right across from each other in the zodiac wheel. So they have like similar but different qualities. Like they kind of go hand in hand. So he has to overcome the downsides of Cancer energy while using the positive sides of Cancer energy to get to Capricorn energy. I know it's so complicated and convoluted. That's why I was wearing my little glasses just to really think this through and look smart. But no I'm kidding. But that's what he's doing. So I mean, it's heavy, right? When we look at people's synastry and past life stuff, it's heavy. And I think that's what this album is. This album is about heavy karma, having karma with another person. It's about a twin soul, a twin flame, the loss of a soulmate, all that stuff we talk about in astrology. And it has really hardcore, like Saturn tones. And I think it's because it is more about Joe than we think. And I think it's because she's basically singing about a time period in her life when Saturn was connecting with her North Node and her Venus. So really learning about love, learning about who she's meant to be, learning about what she doesn't want so that she can figure out what she does want. I mean, and then we have the Alchemy, okay, which is a song about Travis. Guys, I'm telling you, transformation. Oh my God. I wonder if she knows this about her birth chart. She may already be like on this page. She's so smart and on top of things. But so then we get to it's a transformation time, right? And then we get to the alchemy. And something that I've always talked about when it comes to Taylor and Travis's birth charts is that they both have their North Node in Aquarius, which I really like because Pluto's in Aquarius. So Pluto is about transformation. Alchemy means transformation, transforming from one state into another. I'm telling you, she must know the astrology because this is just so dead on. But with Travis, they're moving in the same direction. So it's like she learned with Joe who she isn't, what she doesn't want, kind of solidifying any life lessons from maybe a past life connection with Joe that she needed to suss out fully. And then met Travis, and that was when the alchemy really solidified into her transforming into back into like who she really feels she was meant to be. So high school is another example of that because it's like a giddy love that feels authentic and fun and like you can fully be yourself. But I think that every relationship teaches us something and we learn and we grow. And I think she fully went through it with Joe. And by the time she got to Travis and they started dating, I think she really was solid in like who she is, what she wants, mature, ready to really just continue to transform into that North Node purpose and follow that Aquarius North Node. And because he has the same North Node, they're on the same road together moving forward, which I really like. So they're going to be moving in the same direction in life, which is amazing. Versus Joe, who's moving in the direction of Capricorn energy, which is very different from Aquarius energy, just very different fundamentally. Aquarius energy is about the people, it's about the collective, technology, really like not having a huge ego. It's about celebrating togetherness and everybody having something special within them, which I think a lot of the messaging and a lot of the comments that Taylor and Travis have made about their relationship have been very Aquarius in nature, which means that they have stimulated each other's north nodes, which is so important. So I think they're on track with like their soul growth. Like I said, every time I've seen an interview where people have asked about Travis, like what was one interview I saw, someone asked Travis, like, "Why do you think people are so interested in your relationship with Taylor?" And he said, "I just think it's because, like, we love the people around us, we're happy, we're living our life." It was just very, like, humble and down to earth, very much about the people around us, the opposite of Leo's South Node energy, which they both have. So it shows that they're moving the spotlight away from themselves, but onto sharing it with others, even them being in the crowd at Coachella, that's so Aquarius, not going backstage. So this is all we're seeing them live their Aquarius North Node path. Also, side note, check your North Node. Are you living your North Node path? Like, and if not, think about like how can I be more like that zodiac sign in some of my bigger life choices? It will really feel good. Get into the alchemy. Okay. So that's what's going on with them. And then I do want to look at Matty Healy's birth chart because I'm just so curious, and I want to pull a couple cards about that because I'm so curious as to how he really fits in to all of this. Let's pull some cards first, then let's look at his birth chart. Okay. So with Matty Healy, let's do a past, present, future reading. Actually, before we do that, hold on. My mind is like jumping around. Before we do that, I want to pull one last card just asking why. What is the reason why Taylor made it seem like more of the album was about Matty than Joe, when a lot of the feelings that she experienced were ones that she had experienced with Joe, in my tarot teacher's opinion, okay? Allegedly. Why? Why did she not just share speaking about Joe? And then we're going to talk about Kim, and then that's going to be that. And I'll do some bonus stuff in the members only group on YouTube because we could just go forever. Why wasn't she more open about more of the album being about Joe? Ace of Cups, because it was a true love that she wants to protect. Okay. So Taylor, I think, treats, and I think there's even quotes of her talking about this. Every love is different. I'm pretty sure she even said that. Every love is different. And the love that she had with Joe was very authentic and real. They were together for 6 years. They lived together. At one point, I think, she thought they were going to get married and have kids. So there's a sacredness to that connection that she didn't have with all these other people. That was a real mature relationship, according to the Tarot Tea Truth. And so there's a part of her that just felt wrong putting him on blast. But Matty Healy, we're going to pull some cards about why she was okay putting Matty Healy on blast. But Matty Healy, he was like, it was easier for her to talk about him and her other past connections because they were more surface. It wasn't as deep. So this is really, it's an emotional thing. She's doing it out of like respect for their relationship, but she still wants to share her real feelings because she's Taylor. Okay, cool. That makes sense. So when the tarot tea is just telling it like it is. So let's pull some cards about her connection with Matty. By the way, Matty Healy was born on the 8th, and he is an Aries. So he was born, let's see, yeah, April 8th, 1989. And he's an Aries with 8 energy. This is someone who is extremely eight's very materialistic, about power. Talk about like, and then Aries is very independent. So we're gonna get into his birth chart, but it's pretty shocking to be honest with you guys. So let's see. So just keep that in mind while we're pulling these cards that he has eight energy, eight Aries energy as his personality. Okay. Taylor and Matty. Queen of Pentacles. He saw her as someone successful, someone famous, definitely someone that would help him in his career. People have speculated about that, and I'm going to say this is definitely confirmation that that is the tarot T truth. Also, we've talked about this before, but I'm not a fan of Matty Healy in the least because of his comments that he's made and his, just being crude and rude about women and people of color. And just, that's not okay on any level with me. So I do not like him. I do not think, anyway, I think he's a reckless person. I don't resonate. We'll say that. Okay, let's see. What is the next card we have about Matty and Taylor's relationship? I think I called it relationship by accident. Freudian slip. My God, the relationship. That's a t-shirt right there. Okay, the Hanged Man. Yeah. So so the parts about feeling like you were in the middle and like a fortnight, I do think that that fling did occur in between her relationship with Joe ending and her starting a relationship with Travis Kelsey. I don't think that it was ever a committed connection. The Hanged Man energy is the way that they kind of always have been with each other. It was never all in. Um, I think the love and all that stuff and the heartbreak, I think she was, like I said, filtering that through songs that seemed like they were about Matty. I don't think that they were. Again, she takes a lot of poetic license with the way she tells her stories and the timelines of things. So to me, decoding this using the tarot T, I think that she always felt like that was kind of a fling hanged man situation. It wasn't ever something that I think she truly in her heart of hearts thought was gonna last, and he was never committal, like, he never really said what he wanted from her. I don't think that this is the kind of energy of someone that's, like, when you're with them, they'll act like everything is amazing and, like, that they're so into you and they love you and all this stuff, but then, like, you won't hear from them for, until you see them next. So, it's very non-committal, it's not real, you know what I mean? Okay, that feels very dead on. Also with his Aries sun energy and 8 energy, it makes sense that he would be non-committal because those people tend to not be committal till later in life and then or until they're really ready. And then Queen of Pentacles, it's like someone who's born on the 8th is going to be very attracted to other abundant people because people born on the 8th are associated with wealth accumulation and wanting to be powerful. So I can definitely see that when he's with her, it's like liking the idea of her very much, but not really committing. So that would be confusing for someone for sure. Okay, and then why did it end? How did it end? And then we're gonna look at his birth chart. The T. The lovers. Okay. Okay. So this was a lovers type of situation. There was a choice to be made. The lovers indicates a choice in love. It also means, Okay, let's see. What was the choice and who made that choice? Who really ended it? King of Cups, he did. Okay. So this is like kind of in this context when we're asking about why something ended, the King of Cups would be like having too much love for too many people. You know what I mean? Like this is someone who really is kind of in their feels and in the moment. Next to that hanged man, next to the lover's card energy of making a choice. I think he chose someone else, which is weird, but I mean, wait till you see his birth chart. It makes kind of some sense there. Um, Interesting. And then this card flew out and fell on the ground. I just pick it up. This is the 4 of swords. It came out in the reverse from when I picked it up from the ground. So this is oh my god, Down Bad. Oh, this song Down Bad, stop it. Okay, so I do think that Down Bad guys, I'm telling you, the tarot tea, it's just it's talking about Taylor. Tarot tea loves talking about Taylor. Um, the 4 of Swords in reverse that fell down on the ground about Down Bad. This is actually confirmation that the song Down Bad is about Matty. So I think that there was a period of time where maybe in an attempt to kind of feel something again after her long relationship with Joe that I think was extremely painful because we did have that Ace of Cups energy there. So it was something very real and for 6 years and all of that and moving to London for him. I mean, it was a very real relationship and very difficult when it ended. So I think that the whole thing with Maddie kind of trying to forget things or move on or, whatever, distract herself, then this falling on the ground and him choosing someone else, I think that it really forced her healing. And I think that she was processing not only the ending of that connection, but also it forced her to process even more deeply the ending of the relationship with Joe. I hope that makes sense, but I definitely feel that coming off of these cards. Like, wow, 4 of swords, down bad. Yeah, it was rough. It was rough, I think, when he chose someone else, which is crazy. And that was why he was non-committal. But he liked her because she was the queen of pentacles. So it's almost like he liked her, but, like, she wasn't really right for him. And if you look at his current girlfriend, because I did look into it, okay? I had to do my research thoroughly as a tortured podcaster in the tortured podcasters department. I did pull up some information about his current girlfriend named Gabriette Bechtel. Bechtel? Gabriette Bechtel? I don't know. I love that name. She is a model and she is also uh let's see, a musician. Yeah, she's a musician and a model. If you just look at her, she looks much more like what Matty Healy would go for, very similar to him as far as like clothing and like kind of edgy vibes. Um, just seems kind of more like I don't know, you see them next to each other and it makes sense. So, she was also born on July 28th, which makes her a 1 energy personality. And with him being an 8 energy personality, 8s and 1s get along really well. 8s and 4s, because Taylor, born on the 13th, that's a 4 energy. 8s and 4s get along. They can get along, but the difference here is that 13 energy or the energy of 4 is not really after power. The 4 energy is after hard work, and then the power and fame and money and all that is like a byproduct of true passion. Because in numerology, to get to 4, when you're looking at Taylor's birth date of 13, there's a 1 energy, which is an independent soul, an independent spirit who has to learn to stand alone and goes through trials and tribulations that make them more independent. And then combined with the 3 energy, which is emotion, communication, creativity, which she expresses through her music. And then combined is the 4 energy of hard work, discipline, and structure. So it's a very structured, hardworking personality, which is why I think she gets so much done. But she talks about like doing things while she is depressed. Like, I can do it with a broken heart. That song, that's very 13 energy that combines to create a 4 vibration because that is that energy. It's feeling a lot with the 3, it's being independent and strong and moving forward. And with the 4, it's always pushing forward. So that focus is more about like the fundamentals. And then the 8 energy is like, I want power. I want to already, it kind of skips those steps. Do you know what I mean? And so a 1 energy would be more in alignment with that. Also, someone with a 1 energy 1 is always associated with Aries, and he's an Aries. So this is more of a natural fit. So like I said, I think he chose to be with maybe not her specifically at the time, but chose to be with other people, knew this wasn't right or whatever. And I think it did hurt her because I think she already had felt a sense of loss and rejection with the ending of her relationship with Joe, whether or not she was the one to call it off, right? I don't think it's what she set out to do in the beginning. Okay. Moving forward, wild. Let's look at Matty Healy's birth chart, then we're gonna get into the Kim of it all. And we're not gonna spend too much time on him because I don't know, I get the ick, okay? For obvious reasons that we all know about. We're not gonna get into it. It's just too icky. But but When I first looked at his birth chart, I was like the notes I made about it, I was just like, "Oh, wow. This is someone who is highly independent, loves the power." I'm telling you, this is such a reflection of the cards that we pulled for him with the Queen of Pentacles and the Hanged Man. Loves power and also loves being seen as smart, being intellectual. Let's talk about why. So his sun is in Aries, which is the first sign of the zodiac, all about being independent, outspoken, a trailblazer. These people really need to be seen in that light, and that is how they see themselves. They are they can be hot-headed, they can be like a warrior energy. This type of personality is not going to back down. It's the opposite of Libra energy. So there you go. And again, it's not always bad if you have an Aries sun. I love Aries sun energy. My north node is in Aries. So no shade, but the way that I'm going to interpret this is through the lens of um, who we know Matty Healy is as a person. So if it seems to have a little bit of a negative slant, sorry, that's my bias. It's not about you, it's about him. Okay. and disclaimer over. Okay. So he has his moon in Taurus, which is loving um his moon in Taurus, which is loving luxury, loving if you think about someone who just loves to revel in like fine wines, nice restaurants, beauty, that's his moon energy. That's his highest need. Okay. So we're getting a picture here. His Mercury and Venus are also both in Aries. These people are very non-committal. And if they do commit, it's not until they are 100% ready. Also, when they do commit, they are attracted to other people who are an embodiment of Aries energy. So his current relationship with his girlfriend, Gabriette, that is actually, I haven't looked at her birth chart, but just from knowing that she's a one energy personality, that is more in alignment with what he would naturally be attracted to. And her like music group, I think, is more like alternative kind of pop, like punk a little bit, like edgy. She has like the super thin eyebrows, like kind of 90s. Like she gives a little bit of a grunge vibe, just a little bit when you kind of look at her and her style. And that's very much what a Mercury Venus in Aries would be interested in. It's just wanting someone different and kind of like someone who also feels like a trailblazer and kind of like in your face. Then we have his Mars in Gemini along with his Jupiter in Gemini. Now, Mars in Gemini, especially when it comes to men, in my opinion, that's something that you kind of want to watch out for because, again, until that person is really ready to commit, Mars is passion and drive and associated with like the masculine drive for, passionate things. The wands in our tarot deck, Gemini, it's all about multiple things, multiple people, like always on the go. Gemini is the messenger of the zodiac. So to have Mars in Gemini, that is a variety, needing and wanting a variety of maybe even a variety of partners. Also, that is about intellectual stimulation. So that's why I think, he's always like talking, talking, talking. I mean, I did a little bit of a deep dive into him and I was like, holy smokes, definitely someone who considers themselves an intellectual. Whether or not he really is, that's up for debate. But he would be interested in people who are a little bit, who he thinks are a little bit, different, philosophical, interesting, that type of thing, almost like could be an intellectual snob type of personality. Okay, then we look at his Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, which are all in Capricorn. Saturn in Capricorn is someone who truly is going to have to work hard for their money. And someday, if they work hard, if they keep their nose to the grindstone, they will be able to achieve that. But Saturn in Capricorn is going to make you work for it like the goat. You're going to have to climb that mountain. So, again, it makes a lot of sense to me that he was attracted to the Queen of Pentacles energy of Taylor Swift, almost to the point where, maybe he was ignoring his Venus in Aries and Mercury in Aries and, Mars in Gemini because that Saturn and Capricorn energy has difficulty reaching that level of success. It can be done, and if it does happen, it will be really huge, but for these people, Saturn is about where we have to work hard and grow, and we can't skip steps. So maybe he was wanting to kinda skip some steps, be with Taylor, that's all I'm gonna say. Okay, and then his Chiron is in Cancer, meaning he has some sort of, like, wound around femininity, women, motherhood type of, like, feeling like it's okay to nurture and be nurtured. That is part of what he's working through. So he actually needs to get more in touch with his feminine side, in my opinion. Okay, so that's him. All right, and then last but not least, we're gonna talk about Taylor. I mean, we are going to talk about Kim Kardashian. I'm going to pull up her chart. Okay, so Kim Kardashian, to me, when it comes to the lore that she has in Taylor Swift's songs and in the growth that Taylor has experienced as a person and as an artist, which she has been very honest and open about expressing, this to me is giving like enemies and soul growth. And the way that we know that this is about soul growth is because the title of one of Taylor's songs that is primarily about Kim is "Thank You, aIMee." And she even capitalized the K, the I, and the M so that there would be no debate. We are not confused about who this song is about. And what I actually love about that and about what Taylor says in that song is that she says thank you. And to me, that is very mature because it shows that she's gone through a period of reflection and a period of really thinking through how this has impacted her, how this mean girl energy, if you will, has shaped the way that Taylor is motivated to achieve more for herself, the way that she has risen, from the ashes like a phoenix, which again, I am of the opinion that Taylor is a Scorpio rising. And so that's part of what these people are here to do and to experience. And so you kind of need those antagonists in your life so that you do that. That's why even our enemies, if we are really, really, feeling good one day and we're feeling like very zen and emotionally, centered, we can let it go and forgive and say thank you because even our enemies are bringing out our strength, basically, which is hard to do. But I like that she says thank you in this song because that tells me that she has thought it through. She does realize that this has actually brought out a lot for her. And the biggest connection that I see in their birth charts that really confirms this for me is their South Node connection, meaning I think this is a past life thing. This is finishing business from a past life between the two of them. And the reason I think that is because Kim's North Node is in Leo and Taylor's South Node is in Leo. And then Kim's South Node is in Aquarius and Taylor's North Node is in Aquarius. So they have this thing where they're like opposite, basically. So Kim is moving in the direction that Taylor has already mastered and vice versa. So basically, in this lifetime, with Kim having a North Node in Leo, she is meant to experience the spotlight. Okay. And the way that she achieved that is through her South Node energy, that foundation as a child. The way that we get to our North Node, basically, like I said, it's through this South Node, like we were saying with Joe, right? How he has to move from the Cancer South Node to the North Node in Capricorn. The way that we do that, though, is we have to embrace the positive qualities of our South Node because these are things that we have gained throughout past lifetimes. So for Kim, she had to embrace the Aquarius energy of her South Node, the good side, while releasing any negative tendencies of our South Node, because those will hold us back. Okay. So it's like we have to take the gifts with us on the journey and we use whatever South Node gifts we have to then move forward and fully embody, hopefully by the time, this lifetime is over, we fully are embodying our North Node and, the journey continues. So for Kim, the way that she became famous is through her South Node in Aquarius, which Aquarius rules technology and the internet. It is no coincidence to me, and one of the biggest confirmations that astrology truly is so dead on is if you look at these like instances in people's lives, and like Kim is a perfect example of, she was one of the first people to achieve fame via the internet, via social media, some other things that went on that we know about, but we're just going to talk about like the social media aspect of it. She was one of the first people to be like tweeting, and that is a well-known thing. So people call her kind of like, one of the pioneers of social media. So she did that, connected with her audience, and became famous for a reality show. Aquarius is about reality. Aquarius is not about you being unique. And again, I have Aquarius rising, so I'm not hating on anyone. I think all the signs have such great qualities. And I love Aquarius energy, but it's about not being unique. It's about being unique because you're one of the millions of stars in the sky, not trying to be unique for being different, like Leo, if that makes sense. I know it's very complicated and there are layers, but basically, that's what happened with Kim. She used her south node to get to her north node, and she doesn't, there's this thing that Taylor and Kim kind of had to, I think, bring out in each other. So basically, Kim, basically, I think Taylor saw the negative side of her south node in Leo in Kim, because there's this common, it's like they're walking past each other on a road, and they kind of hand off what the other needed to like learn and get from each other, and then you can say thank you and close the chapter basically. But to wrap it up, I just think that Taylor was learning about what she didn't like about Leo energy and about having a huge ego and all of that, so that she, and the negative aspects of fame, so that she could shed that side of her persona, continue to enjoy being in the spotlight, because that's one of her South Node gifts, while letting go of a lot of that negativity that has to do with the entertainment world, and truly embodying just a person, a happy person, Aquarius energy, and embracing her fans and those people as what is, important in her career journey and in her soul journey, not like the fame and the celebrity culture and the squad and all that stuff. Even though she still has friends, the friends are different. The landscape has changed. And it's because she's living her Aquarius North Node. Kim, on the other hand, has to learn about being in the spotlight, because that's Leo energy, but on the positive side, it's about being more generous. And I think that her negative, pursuit of her North Node has been exposed by Taylor, so that she would be forced to integrate more of her South Node positive gifts that she's supposed to be taking with her, that I think she's shed a little too much of. So that is my analysis on the Tortured Poets Department. I truly did enjoy the album. I love Taylor. I think she's just such an amazing artist, obviously, and this was really fun to look into. And I'm going to do some extended stuff over on the YouTube members only channel. So if you guys are a member, get ready, because there's just so much to continue talking about. But I love you guys so much. Thank you for listening, and I will see you next week for another all new episode. Have a great week.